Right now I'm going to be talking about two words. Go ahead and guess, but mostly about hope. I know 2020 has not that much been of a good year, and we're just stuck inside. And most of us probably lost hope, but we had to remember to gain it because we have our family and we have our friends, and we can hang out with them. But remember, stay 6 feet apart and always wear a mask. Now think about those two words, justice and hope. And what do those two words mean to you? Well, those two words mean to me that to believe and that I have love surrounding me. So let's help each other put the pieces together, hope and justice.
In these times of sadness and despair, where a family is sick, people dying from a deadly disease, we need to be together with our family, with our friends. We need to have time for them to walk and talk, to play with our loved ones, to give each other courage to find a solution, and to be brave enough together. To be kind to people. We need to have hope.
Symmetrical balance. This monument represents symmetrical because if you divide it by the middle, it's the same in both sides. Asymmetrical balance. Asymmetrical because we are just focusing in one side and it is not the same in the other side. Radial balance. It is radial just because it starts from the center to the sides or around it. Rhythm. These strings represent rhythm by the vibration it creates and makes sounds. Pattern, pattern, pattern. It's just the same shape, repeating and repeating. Emphasis. We are focusing just in the ring, so we emphasize the ring. Contrast. Just the opposite colors, black and white, that are contrasting. Movement. These slides show the movement, how they move to the right and then front. Unity. This represents unity because a group of people are moving to the right and other group of people are moving to the left. Juxtaposition. We're just comparing two things that are different, in this case, color.
Hello, my name is Wanahura and this is my principal design video project. The first principal design, symmetrical balance, which is when the design is the same or symmetrical on both sides. This picture of this ladybug here is a good example because if I were to divide it vertically, it would be symmetrically balanced. Number 2, asymmetrical balance. Asymmetrical balance in the composition has more weight on one side of the composition. As you can see here, the composition favors the left side as the figure is mainly on the left side. Number 3, radial balance. Radial balance is when the composition has elements around and spreading out from the focus point. And this composition is a good example as it has a focus point with elements extending out from it. Number 4, rhythm. Rhythm is a repetition of pattern with elements of art and it creates a visual tempo. I chose this composition because it creates a mesmerizing visual tempo with elements of art it has, which makes it rhythm. Number 5, pattern. Pattern is a pretty simple principle. It's just a repeating of elements of art that creates a design, and as you can see with this composition, it has repeating triangles, square shapes, lines, and some color, which makes it a cool pattern roof. Number 6, emphasis. Emphasis grabs the viewer's attention with a focal point that has elements that are different than the elements around the focal point. This composition is a good example of emphasis because you can easily spot the giant elephant with a different color, size, and texture while being around other different elements. Number 7, contrast. Contrast is the usage of two or more different elements in the composition. This creates the ability to compare and contrast the elements. This composition here can be an example of contrast because it has 3 different oranges with a different color, size, and texture you can compare and contrast. Number 8, movement. The concept of movement is the usage of elements of art that lead you to the focal point of the composition. My example of movement here uses lines, shapes, and color to lead you to the focal point, which is the hand holding a cigarette. Number 9, unity. Unity is the usage of all principles of design in one single composition to make unity. This composition here is the best example I can find for unity, and from the top of my head I can spot a symmetrical balance and possibly radial balance. Definitely some emphasis in movement. The final principle design, juxtaposition. Juxtaposition is the creation of two or more things that are not usually together, things out of place. I think this composition can be a example due to the unusualness and oddness. This person appears to have a trophy as a head and a spray can is being used as a cloud. Very unusual, but really cool work of art. And that's all the principal designs. Thanks for watching.
Number 1, symmetrical balance. This picture is symmetrical because it is the same on each side but through it as well. Number 2, asymmetrical balance. This picture is asymmetrical because the people aren't the same size and aren't in the same spot as each other. Number 3, radial balance. This picture has radial balance because it's spread out from the center with the same shape, size, and color. Number 4, rhythm. This picture has rhythm because it shows the same color, pattern, and repeating lines. Number 5. Pattern. This picture has pattern because it shows the same shape, color, and form that is repeated. Number 6. Emphasis. This picture shows emphasis by the pink balloon in a blue cage surrounded by blue balloons in a blue background, which is the focal point. Number 7. Contrast. This picture shows contrast in the colors separated by opposite light, which is light and dark. Number 8. Movement. This picture shows movement by the man with swervy lines. It has dark and light colors with him on the left edge. Number 9. Unity. This picture shows unity by elements of art and design to come together, which is color, lines, shape, and value, to name a few. Number 10. Juxtaposition. This picture shows juxtaposition by showing contrast by concepts placed side by side, which is the two people facing each other.
This year is very bad for some of us, but we need to realize that it just isn't us. It's our family or friends that need help. Hope is what brings everyone together, and we can accomplish that by helping each other out. A few things to do to make ourselves feel better is draw, work out, enjoy outside, and listen to music. But most importantly, be with our family. We don't realize we have so much time with quarantine that we can do many things, and one of those things is hope. We should care for one another like we do ourselves, and that's what hope really is about.
Hi, my name is Sandra Gordillo, and this is my Principles of Design project. My first principle is symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance occurs when equal weights are on equal sides of the composition, balanced around fulcrum or axis in the center. I choose this composition because it invokes feelings of formality and elegance. Number 2. Symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance results from unequal visual weight on each side of the composition. I choose this composition because one side of the composition contains a dominant element which could be balanced by a couple or more lesser focal point on the other side. Number 3. Radial balance. Radial balance relates to the element that spreads out from the central point when the visual weight of those elements is evenly spread. I choose composition because this design is very symmetrical, but the level of detail and sense of shape falling into each other keeps the composition interesting. Number 4. Rhythm. Rhythm in art and design refers to a relationship between elements that creates a sense of harmony. I choose composition because the rhythm can be seen in patterns, in the relationships between colors and shapes, and repetitions of lines and forms. Number 5. Pattern. A pattern is a design in which lines, shapes, forms, or colors are repeated. This part that is repeated is called morph. I choose the composition because its multiple patterns continue to repeat themselves in elegant art. Number 6. Emphasis. Any object or area emphasis is called a focal point. The focal point is meant to be part of an artwork to which the viewer's eyes are first attract. I choose composition because it helps the audience put the story of painting together in their own minds. Number 7. Contrast. As a principle of art, contrast refers to the arrangement of opposite elements and effects. For example, light and dark colors, smooth and rough texture, large and small shapes. I choose composition because it gives a few examples of contrast in art. Number 8. Movement.
Movement is the path of the viewer's eye takes through the work of art, often to focal areas. Such movement can be directed along lines, edges, shapes, and color within the art. I choose composition because artists use movement to direct the viewer's eye through a work of art. Number 9, unity. Unity refers to how different elements of an artwork or design work together and create a sense of wholeness. I choose this composition because it achieves through harmony, simplicity, repetition, and continuation, which are design and art principles of design. Number 10, juxtaposition. Juxtaposition is the act of positioning two or more things side by side. I choose some composition because it gives a good example for juxtaposition by making the extraordinary look extraordinary and represent one of the central techniques in the realism and movie. This is all my principles in design. Thank you for watching.
Keep the hope, keep moving forward, and keep looking ahead. How do I keep hope alive? I participate in self-care. I stay involved in positive activities to take care of my mental, emotional, and physical health. It is important to take care of yourself, especially in these challenging times. Are you practicing self-care? Play a sport that you enjoy, walk your dog, exercise, learn a new recipe, or take a guitar lesson online. Use a creative outlet to express your thoughts and feelings like dancing, writing, painting, photography, doing a creative project, challenging yourself and entering into a contest. Slow things down by trying yoga, meditation, reading, and appreciating nature. Don't forget to sleep and practice healthy eating habits. Spend time with your family and stay connected with friends. Discover and try something new. Plan some post-pandemic goals for yourself. Keep moving forward. Hope is powerful. Practice self-care and keep the hope.
This is an example of asymmetrically balanced, and if you were to put a line in the middle, the two halves will not be the same, and also texture since the rock has a rough texture. This is symmetrically balanced because if you were to put a line in the middle, the two halves would be the same, and also an example of color since the colors pop in the darkness. This is an example of radial balance since they are coming out the center, and also an example of lines since they're moving in a vertical and horizontal way. This is an example of rhythm since it is either moving in a vigorously way or in a smooth way. This is an example of patterns since it's repeating the same thing over and over, and an example of shape because it's being the shape of a diamond. This is an example of emphasis because the one yellow umbrella is drawing the attention of the viewer. This is value and contrast on how the door opens to reveal a light into the dark room. This is moving because you can picture how the motorcycle will be moving over the dunes. This is an example of unity because every object in this household brings a comfort and form because most of the objects are 3D. And finally, this is juxtaposition because it's showing how far technology has grown to old phones to the new phones.